Hello, this is a note about a feature of a new, fairly new feature of qtVlm, which I want to do a short note on, leading up to actually a series of maybe 4 videos about some remarkable new features that I want to illustrate, but those illustrations require each of these, some of the more complicated ones require these other features to understand, and I want to show the background on those if you haven't seen these or experimented with them. And this one I'm just calling the magic eye of the cursor pick, and that is it's a unique feature. It's very rare, actually, even on very expensive ECDIS systems. But here's what the point is, and then it comes from a cursor pick. So we could cursor pick anywhere, and a cursor pick means I'm right-clicking this chart here, and I'm coming down and say I want to get the vector. This is the chart information. That's just general information about this chart. Its name, its scale, units, and the depth con. This is very valuable. This is also a very unique feature of qtVlm to tell you the official depth contours within this chart, and so forth. But that's not what we're after now. I'm going to right-click it and say Show the vector elements. So this is all the objects that are at this point. And so this area here, for example, this is an area of the chart that has a meaning, and that's one of the things that's at, I lost my, okay, where is this? Okay, and it's at this area, and this is probably a restricted area. Let's just see here if there's a restricted area. Here's the magic eye. Now I turn on the magic eye, and that shows that whole area, all that's lit up, is included in that restricted area, like that. And so what's it restricted for? Discharging prohibited. Okay, well, we treat most areas that way at sea, but note you wouldn't normally see that, especially since we have the display set not to emphasize the nature of these boundaries. If I zoom in here some more like this, see, these are all called plane boundaries. This is dash, this is nothing here. So let's go back. Let's see, can I do it? Shift-Command-V. Yeah, I can do it here. Let me go into here and change the boundaries to symbolized and say okay. Now you see what's happened is this line has now got dashes around it like that. This has got dashes around it like that. And this is marking the border of that restricted zone. You have to learn in our book that this dashes mean that's a restricted area. And if you zoom out, you'll see that this area along the edge here has these dashes too. So when you have this on, when that's on, you get a little better hint of where the areas are. But if there's any doubt, you just go and click this, and it shows you very nicely. And likewise, you could go like this is a dredged area. And again, so you don't know, you may normally run this with these symbolized boundaries off, going to plane boundaries, and then the chart's a little bit, let's see, boundaries, plane. The boundaries then, it's a little cleaner. The chart view is a little bit cleaner. But, so then you can go here. Let me just say, where is this thing I just did? I lost my cursor. I lost my where I'm looking. But now let me just go right here, for example, and click. I'm in this zone here, and I say vector chart elements, and so I'm right here. So now what is that? That's probably a fairway. It's a fairway. Now it's very interesting to know the rules of a fairway. A fairway is like a narrow channel. So even though this is wide open ocean out here, when you're interacting with a ship that's going following this fairway, it has a right-of-way, certain right-of-ways that you might not guess because it looks like it's open water, but it's a charted fairway, so it acts like a narrow channel. And this magic eye will show us what it is, and so forth. The other thing that's often really handy is, let me bring this, well, I could even do it right here, because we're in a depth area. Depth area in ENCs is that between this depth and this contour and this contour. Looks like it's 6 to 12 feet. Now we're over here, here's depth area, and it's reminding me I'm in a depth area of 6 to 12 feet, which in this case I can see because I have the contours labeled. Now that's something you could have turned on or not turned on. You see depth contours labeled. Okay, is that right? So now I'm here with no labels. Anyway, those labels are nice. But in any way, 6 to 12, I can turn on the magic eye. And then this is showing me, this beautiful feature is showing me everywhere that this depth contour extends to something like that. So that's a thing it will do. Then other things, and you can play with other features of this. You'd be surprised how valuable it is. If I just went up to something like magnetic variation. Now, what is this? Now, this says magnetic variation 5, and it looks like normally the magnetic variation areas, they're called areas. This is actually not an area. This is actually a specific measurement. So this variation, it says the nominal variation in this area is 5 degrees over this chart here. But that's the chart, right? Okay, let me go back to another thing. Show chart outlines. Let's just do that. Sometimes you put them on if it's helpful. Sometimes you turn them off if it's in the way. But in this case, it's reminding us that this is actually the chart. That's the boundaries of the chart. That's why when I click the magic eye here for a variation, it just shows it here. But that doesn't mean the variation is not 4 degrees here. You got to read that. We can see in a minute that it will. We can zoom out and then see where the variation does change by 1 degree. Because normally from one zone to the next, the variation changes 1 whole degree. This happens to be what's called a spot variation, where they're telling us, even though the whole area here is nominally 5 degrees, they're telling us at this particular spot, it's a sort of a point variation, and that one's 4.67. I don't know if it actually says that. No, it just says 5. But that's what that symbol means. But here's the general variation of that. Now let's zoom out though. Okay, let me zoom out. And I have some zones saved here. So oh no, that's the wrong one. 10, 9. 10, 11, 12. Oh, I thought I had it saved. Okay, let me zoom out manually. You can save these. You can save these zones, and save views. And I thought in preparation for this video, I thought I'd saved it. But let me just zoom out to make the point I want to make. This again is a small bay we've had interest in for other reasons. That's almost due east of Chicago. But I want to just, since I got a little bit off on a tangent on this variation, let me go out here and show this. Okay, let's do this. All right, now I'm just going to ask for information at some random place here. Now that should be variation 5 degrees. Where was that? Variation 5 degrees. And if we turn that on, now we see a more interesting magnetic variation. You see, this is variation 5 degrees, and that's the zone where on that part of the world the variation is 5 degrees. At this side, it's going to be 1 degree different, and this side this way. This is like further north. I'm guessing this is probably 6. Let's go up here. Let's go up here somewhere and then ask for the magnetic variation. And you see, in this part of the world, magnetic variation is 6. And likewise, I think if we snug down here in the corner somewhere, yeah, there you see, turn on the magic eye. There, magic eye. there's 4 degrees variations there. All right, I'm going to stop there. It's a fascinating, very powerful tool, quick and easy to use, goes off, gets out of your way, but it's a tremendous aid to navigation. And with some of the new developments where we want to show how is a chart updated, being able to do these highlights will be very valuable.